What is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to A Therapeutic Edge. Today, well, we got some knives on the table, and we'll talk about that in just a minute. But first, a member of our community has asked for help, and that is not something he likes to do, but here we are. Zeb over at Woodland Tactical has put out a call for some assistance because his younger brother has had a very serious work-related accident. Serious enough that the family has started a GoFundMe page to help out. Now, you can find all that information over on Woodland Tactical. That is the name of the YouTube channel. You'll also find over there excellent knife reviews, gear reviews. It's just a great channel. But focusing on helping out the family, anyone who donates to the GoFundMe is automatic and then sends Woodland Tactical an email, is automatically entered in a giveaway that will happen down the road a ways. And the prizes are pretty amazing. Other channels, Big Red EDC and Geared Toward Gear, have both donated some goods to the prize pot. I'm doing that from over here at A Therapeutic Edge. I know Women Carry Knives is going to send some bits and pieces over too. In other words, the giveaway grand prize is sort of constantly growing. And we're doing that because Zeb and his channel Woodland Tactical are a big part of this community. He is kind and thoughtful. He's been super helpful to us new folks on the block. He knows his gear. Look, if you can help, go over to Woodland Tactical, find the video. In that video is the link to the GoFundMe. Help the family out if you can. Any little bit helps. You know, we've all been there. We've all been in need, and it is nice to know that this community is willing to come together and help out people that find themselves in that spot. So that's what I'm hoping you guys will do. We've done it. I hope that you join us. So now let's talk about budget knives. The reason I brought these out on the table is lately I've been doing a lot of fairly expensive knives on the channel, and here's the thing: you don't need that if you want to just have a good knife. I have my own taste, and my own taste runs to the fairly expensive. By way of example, this is my Andre de Villers Pathfinder. Look, this is no joke, right? This is an expensive knife by anybody's standards. It is S35 VN, it is titanium. It is a great knife. But that's my taste, and you don't have to do this to have a good knife. No, the rest of the knives on the table are all well under $100. All of them are excellent knives. Let's take just a few minutes and go through what you can get for your money. Now, on the right side of the table, over here, we have the just sort of omnipresent in the system. I mean, if you follow EDC, you'll see this thing all the time, right? This is the Rat 1. This comes in AUS 8 or D2. This is the AUS 8 version. It is just about the perfect EDC pocket knife due to its shape, the way the blade is ground, the action. The grip is fantastic. This is one of those knives when somebody who isn't into knives the way I am says, I need a pocket knife. This is where I send them. Or any of these, actually. This is a great place to start. Cold Steel Voyager Large. This is just such a spectacular knife. This is in their new AUS 10A. This is not as inexpensive as some of the others on the tables. I think this is around 80 or 90 bucks, I think. Look, this is a great multi-purpose outdoor hard use knife. In a world where hard use can mean upwards of $300 or $400, getting one at this price in a good steel, AUS 10A is a good steel, is really a valuable thing. I keep this around because sometimes I just want an inexpensive knife that I can beat the crap out of. This is a great way to go. It is kind of big, however. Let's look at some smaller options, shall we? This, for $54, is the Buck Small Selkirk. This knife is spectacular. This is Buck's 440. It is got their heat treat. Look, this is one of their made in China knives. This is not wood, this is plastic. It has but so what? We're talking about $54. It is comfortable. It rides the pocket exceptionally well on a factory deep carry clip that is very, very deep carry. This is a great knife. I recommend this to people who want, they know the name Buck, they're looking for something they recognize. This is a great way to go. On the other side of the table over here, we've got a Ganzo. Now, these knives have a moderate to bad reputation. I'll get to some of their newer stuff in a minute, and you'll see why that's changing. This is one of their older designs. This is the, I need better glasses. Sorry, the F761. I should know that off the top, but I don't know everything all the time, it turns out. Look, this is a great knife. Good action, 440C stainless. This is fantastic. It's attractive. I've put a deep carry clip on it. There are aftermarket clips available. This is 25 bucks. Seriously. You cannot beat this with a stick for $25. Let's look at some newer and more interesting Ganzo, shall we? This is the FH11. This is in D2 steel, running on bearings. It has a factory deep carry clip. The scales are G10. It has steel liners. Look, this is a great knife by any measure. If you know somebody who's like, well, you know, I need a pocket knife, but I don't want to get into it that far, this is about 30 bucks. For $30 for these materials, for this action, this much blade, and this comfortable, you just can't go wrong. Now, they have made different varieties of these. Here's another one, right? This is the FH21, excuse me. This is a slightly smaller, right, as you can see. It is a little smaller, right, than the FH11, which some people really prefer. It has that same excellent deep carry clip. It is G10. It is running on bearings. It's also in D2. Look, this is a great knife. It really is, and I think it's $33 or $34. I recommend these all the time to people who are looking to get themselves into knives. Most importantly, this is how, and this is how, we shop with our wallets. We know that Ganzo can make good knives. We know that they can make knives that last. We know they have the tooling and the materials to make good knives. But how do we keep them making new and original designs as opposed to falling back on sort of making copies? Well, this is how. When a company reaches out and decides they want to do better, as far as I'm concerned, if they do a great job the first time, and they did, we should support them and help them know that that's where we're going to put our money, and you cannot go wrong with either of these two. Now finally, the Rat 2. This is also in AUS 8. This is a great little knife for people that have smaller hands, that don't want to spend a lot of money. I think this is $25 or so. You cannot go wrong with this if you're looking for a smaller EDC blade. This is a great way to go for the money. My point with all of this is that while if you find yourself in a place where you are spending a ton of money on knives because that is what you want to do, that's what your collection feels like, and that's where your interests lie, that's cool. I mean, that's fine. But don't forget, for most of the folks out there, that's not what they're in it for. They just want a pocket knife. And so when somebody comes to you and says, hey, I'm looking at this knife, if your tastes have run to super steel, if your tastes have run to high-end materials, don't necessarily shoot down their choices just because their interests aren't within that range. Pocket knives are for everybody. It's a useful tool with a variety of purposes in your everyday life. Don't try to talk them into a knife that costs $300 or $400 just because that's where you are. There are options that cost well under $100 that will serve most people for the rest of their lives without any issues at all, and might even get them interested in more expensive knives if they find they really like it. So that's my take on budget knives. Again, please don't forget to go over to Woodland Tactical, find his video on the GoFundMe for his brother. Once you do that, you're signed up for once you go to the GoFundMe and send him an email, you're signed up for the giveaway. We can help him out. We can help each other out. That's why we call it a community. Thanks for watching. This has been a Therapeutic Edge. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down in the comment section below. If you haven't done so already, please like and subscribe. I'll see you next time.